welcome to another brand new episode here on Fs25. Yes, today we are carrying on from the excellent work that we did yesterday. So we are slowly but surely getting ourselves ready for winter. We've got all of those bales over there to collect. And we've also got the hay bales down yonder to collect. We've got wood to sell, which is good, because that obviously brings us some money in, and we've got our shed to put down now. I don't really know what to do in terms of where to put it, really. As I sort of kind of stated at the beginning of this series, you know, it was always my intention to kind of clear this area and to completely restart again, you know, in terms of farm build and stuff. It kind of didn't work out that way because we couldn't get rid of Walter's house and stuff like that. And then we kind of got a bit preoccupied in a way because Walter was essentially he wasn't very honest, and so we then sort of set about revenging Walter. He's getting very fond of his bees. I think he should be out here today. Yeah, he is. Yeah, he's getting very fond of his bees. Is Walter. I do keep a very, very, very close eye on how much honey we've got, just to make sure he ain't nicking any. But thankfully at the moment he doesn't seem to be on the nick. Yes, he's behaving himself. He'd get a slap if he wasn't. But anyway, I don't condone violence. Any kids that are watching this, it's a joke. You have to say that these days, otherwise you get shut down. Anyway, right, we'll go and sell these. We'll have to come back for the rest because some reason it's not letting me load them, saying that we're full, even though we can clearly see we've got half a trailer that's empty. Anyway, so yeah, that's the plan for today. We're going to get the shed down and get the Now, I have explained to you all before. That's quite good. Look, we can get all the grass under there. Do not, under any circumstances, unstrap your wares, because you will not. There we go. You will not get anything to restrap onto the trailers. It will not auto-load anything, and anything that you try and put onto the trailer doesn't connect properly either, so you have to reload the game in. So never ever unstrap when you roll over. Try and pull your tractor and trailer back over. That is my top tip for today. I think I pretty much give you that tip every bloody episode, because I at some point will roll over the tractor with the trailer. It's just a Jimmy thing, really. But yeah, anyway. So what we'll do is, while we're up this way, we will have a look. I'll have a look. We will have a look to see whether furniture is doing much. And yes, the game is again a bit juddery and jittery and Lord knows what else. It's just, I can't stop it. I genuinely, I just can't stop the game from doing this. So one time I'll load the game in, it will work absolutely fine. There'll be very few issues. The next time I load the game in, there'll be a lot of issues. And this episode, we're going to get the jitteriness, and we're also going to get the crashing, because yes, I've had 2 crashes, and I've only had the game loaded in, well, I've been trying to play for the last about 15-20 minutes, and I've had 2 crashes. And before all of the mod conflict people jump onto me, no, Nothing has changed from the last episode. Absolutely nothing. And yeah, and the last episode that I recorded was with the mods, same mods, where in the episode before that one I had a lot of crashes and the GPS wasn't working and the whole episode was just awful to record because, but like I say, just a billion things kept going wrong. It kept crashing. The GPS wouldn't give me a straight line no matter what direction I put it in. It just wouldn't give me a straight line. And oh, dear me. So yeah, nothing's changed in terms of mods in this game, but for some reason, as I say, I don't think there's errors in my there's no errors in my log, so it's just Farming Simulator 25. What can I say? You know, I don't know. The thing is, if it was me that was releasing a new game in this state and charging more for the game than I did the one before it that worked absolutely flawlessly, and I'd emptied half of the game with the stuff it had in before, I'd be embarrassed. I honestly I would. And I know that sounds really harsh, and I know a lot of people are thinking, "Oh, you're always slating giants." The truth of the matter is, and I've said it before, I don't, and I'm not. I love, the Farming Simulator, sort of franchise and everything because it's the closest I can get to farming now, with all my sort of kind of health issues that are going on. As I say, this is as close as I can get, and the fact that I can run my own farm, my own way, and do my own things, in my own style is absolutely brilliant. Do you know what I mean? I've just been really, really disappointed with this game. Fs25, Fs19, Fs17, 15, 13, 11, even Fs09, fabulous games. Yeah, Fs9, 09 had its problems. There's no question about that. But it was a new game, it was a new concept, and they were learning. And, I was learning with them in a way because, mods was a new thing to me, and trying to get them installed into the game was a whole new thing to me, and what have you. And I was, I was happy with it. But it still worked. The game still ran. It was still really, really, sort of playable. Whereas this just isn't. It just isn't playable. Not for any length of time. I can play it long enough to record a couple of episodes and what have you. I can do that. I can sort of play the game long enough to do that, but it's like, I've been trying to play Calmston, and after about half hour, 45 minutes of it juddering and jittering and stuttering and crashing and everything, I just think, do you know what, I can't be bothered. I'll load in Fs22 for the next 19 hours. I'll have a perfect game that runs smoothly. I might as well just play that, and so, that's sort of what I am doing at the moment. Right, before I forget, let's just have a little look at furniture. There we go. Right, that's the one I want. Furniture. So no, we're still way under what we should be, although we haven't got to take it far, which is pretty good. Let's have a look down here, see if there is anything that we are making profit on. So we could take the bricks and the cement again. We could, yeah, we've just done the pre, so we could take the slate and the bricks. Alright. See, why make this menu so long and then put that there so that you can't actually read all of it? That's a bit nuts. I don't think that's giants, to be fair. I think this is a mod. It is a mod. So the person that made the mod needs to sort that out, alright? I'm joking. I'm joking. Right, anyway, furniture, there's no point to, and I'll just keep it there, to be fair. So we'll go back to the farm, we'll get the bale trailer on, and we will go and collect some bales. And then, as I say, we've then got a little bit of building to do, and then we've got probably a little bit of skipping to do, because we're pretty much all caught up with our land work. Well, we are all caught up. We'll have to fertilise the grass, so we can go off and do that. That's no problem. As I say, we can do that as well. But then, you know, we really are struggling for work. So yes, we need to, and we'll also need to check the food and everything as well, for the animals, or wood chips. That's what I meant to check, but check as well. Even if I can speak proper English, nope. Even that's not ready. So we'll just keep dumping them there. Oh, we've got another bleeding wall now. I am going to pick it up and take it, just because we do need the money. So we'll take that. Actually, honey. No, even that's not bloody sellable. Okay. Oh, we need to do the cement, don't we? Actually, I can't do that, because that will sell there as well. I won't get no money for that, so we'll have to take this first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip over to some time lapse while I do all this, because otherwise you poor people are going to be sitting there going, all right, Ginger, shut up, mate. Hey, we've had a bit of enough now. So I'll switch over to some time lapse, and then what I'll do is I'll meet you again when we either start to collect the bales or when we've collected the bales. So I'll see you in a bit. Bye for now. So there we go, we're back again. Got a little bit of, we'll just give that a mix because that's been stood for a while. Looks ever so different here, doesn't it, without the trees. I mean, off camera I'll do more because I've been doing it off camera. And by the time spring starts, this row down here will be completely gone. But as I say, whether we quite get all the way around or not, I don't know. But it's quite a tight old turn, this now. Yeah, we can get in there. Look at that. Look. So I've come this way around. There is a reason I haven't gone completely mad, even though I did take the silage bale out of the hay barn to then only put it into the straw barn. Because why not? I mean, I was meant to put it in the silage barn, but you know, I just sort of thought, I don't know, put it in the straw barn. It'll be more funnier watching you have to then get it out again. Is that full? By the way that looked on the ground, it looked like it was virtually empty. Oh, crikey. Okay, where's my cow barn? I have to go up here now, look. That's the thingy. There we go. Right, food. Total mixed ration. Is it empty then? No. Oh, well, apparently we can't fill that up with TMR. So that doesn't make no sense to me whatsoever. But anyway, what about this side? Oh yeah, we can put some this side. Okay. Yeah, whatever. That's fine. So it did fill it up in the end. So possibly then that's kind of trying to simulate maybe that they eat all of the TMR one side and then it sort of gets down that side and you have to refill it that side. But this side, you know, might be slightly higher, I don't know. But anyway, it's full. We'll still keep this in here so it keeps it out of the rain. With no need to have that outside in the rain, especially now that winter's coming. We should hopefully be getting some poo. Yep, we certainly are. Oh, that reminds me, how much slurry are we getting? Because if we've got a lot, we could then go and slurry our grass fields. Slurry is 61,916 litres. Yes, I think we might be going off and do that, because the grass will need doing. I can't make my mind up whether to put that big shed, that one, whether to put that big shed, this one here. It doesn't really fit here though, that's the trouble. Get it the right way around if we are going to put it down. But it doesn't really fit there. I know we can do that, and then it will let me do it. But it doesn't really fit there, does it? Not really. The only place really it fits okay is here. And then we have to be mindful that we don't put it on the track, because I do still want to use the track and I don't want to block that, so it'd have to go here somewhere. Land is not owned by me apparently. Okay. Still think we'll be okay there. So we'll put it down there. Alright. Should be okay. We can still get out that end, that's good. And I think this end is still going to be free as well. Nearly not, but it is, that's fine. As long as we can get access to this cow shed to the left and my manure spreader, which I can do, that's fine. as I said before, this isn't going to be much of a farm build, but you know, we needed a shed to put our equipment. Oh, you know what I should have done? Darn it. I should have painted the ground first, because that's all going to be grass in there. Alright. This is exactly the reason why I have full refund on buildings, because I always forget to paint the bloody ground. Right, concrete, yep, and then we will literally just do that. Oh no, that's not the right one, James. Let's try that one. Is that the right one? I don't know. It's close enough. Right, so then we come as close as we dare without ruining the track. Not too worried if there's a bit of grass at the back of the shed, to be fair. I think the farms in my area have decided that spring has sprung, because there's a lot of tractors going by today with cultivators and drills on. Now, personally, I would have said it was a little bit premature, that. What I didn't realise was apparently now we can texture through buildings, so I didn't need to get rid of that. Dear. Anyway. Alright, and let's do it again, and then we'll re-put it down. Right, we need to just... Right, we don't own that land, so we need it as near to there as we can get. Go that way a little bit more. We should be okay. I'm not too worried about the corner of that. Alright, hopefully that should be okay. I'm not too worried about as well those wood chip boxes. Not too, as I say, too fussed about that, because we can just do this. Don't like doing it this way, but yeah, it just helps if you can just drive up to them and just sort of suck them in. That bit up there, we'll have to just alter that slightly. That shed's not unusable like that with the tree and the sign, but once I remember to actually, when I load this game in, once I remember to put the hide anything mod, we can hide all that round there. I'm hoping that we'll also be able to hide a lot of Walter's buildings there that we can't get rid of, because that will make a massive difference as well. That will give us a little bit more land, and possibly it might even allow us to put chickens around there. So I don't know, but we'll try that out once we get into that position, and once we get into as I say, that far down the line. But we've virtually emptied our money again now, so the new fields are going to have to just wait another episode. But it doesn't matter, because there's no crops on them, so it's not like I was going to buy them to try and flip them to harvest them, because I wasn't. I am actually, wanting to buy them for the farm so that we've got more to farm, because I want to also make chocolate as well. So we're going to need sugar beet now. So we need more land, because we need to start growing more produce and more crops, and we need to be growing cotton now, so that we can get our ropes right up and moving. The sheep are doing well, and as they multiply and get even more of them, they'll be doing even better. Yeah, so that's what we need to be doing. I might even put up another, as I think I've said this before, put up another sheep barn and have just the goats in that barn by themselves, because as I say, we're going to need quite a bit of wool, because I also want to, well, eventually I won't be using the wool for rope. I'll be using cotton for rope, and I'll be using wool for the fabric. So eventually, as I say, that's not going to be a thing anyway with the sheep. That they'll be supplying that rope factory, because I want cotton to do that. So yeah, but I tell you, we're starting to slowly grow now. We're sort of reaching a bit of a tipping point, really, where it seemed that we were just sort of dragging it up. I think I experienced it a little bit on Calmlands. It was a bit like, kind of, it took ages to save money to buy one thing, but it feels like we're slowly but surely getting to the point where it's just money's coming in all the time, and we'll be able soon to keep every episode to just keep chipping away at different things, whether it be new fields or, sort of, I mean, eventually we'll get pigs. Eventually we can do that. Eventually we can sort of start to do the other things that we want to do, but I just need to get so I've got the shed built now, so our machinery now can all be put away in there, and stored away in there, which is really good. That will certainly help me and at least one other person's OCD that has reminded me a couple of times that the shed needed building. So I was desperate to get that done, because they were a bit like myself, really, from kind of how it read, that their OCD was suffering as bad as mine. So yeah, we've got the shed done now, thankfully, and the bales in the sheds now. We've got the animals, well, we've got the cows just fed again. We will go and check the sheep and the goats just to make sure that they've still got 2 bales, or at least 1 bale down there. And then look at that, look, we're just going to fit them in. Just going to fit them in. That is absolutely brilliant news. Right, so that's that done, so we can move that out of the way, so we can put that down the side there, really, and store that all lovely jubbly. We've got, oh, hang on, there's another wood chip box there. We can just get a bit closer. We can suck that into the trailer by magic. So I don't normally like doing stuff like this way, but you can't tip. We haven't got a box tipper, and you can't tip the boxes into the trailers anyway, because I've tried, even though we don't have a box tipper. But yeah, anyway, what we're going to do is I'll switch back over to a little bit of time lapse. We'll now get the yard cleared up and get the machinery put away, and then we'll then look to see whether we have got enough. I'm sure we have enough slurry. The other thing I wanted to check as well was what was in the for sale. I'd like them, to be fair, because it would speed rolling up a little bit, and I'd also like to do that because it'd be fun to do some rice fields, wouldn't it? I think. It's just stuff here really that we don't need. Although that's slightly wider than the one we've got, so that would perhaps be quite nice as well. As I say, it's slightly wider than the one we've got. Alright. I don't think these will be accepted here. No, I didn't think they would be. Right, we will put that here for now, just for now, and then what I'll do is we will start to get put away. I'll time lapse all of that because it will take a minute or two. We'll get put away, and then we will get on then with some slurry, and I think we should have enough to do at least one field. We might have enough to do both, I don't know, but we'll definitely have enough to do one, I'm sure. We'll go to number 12 first because it's further away, and as I say, we'll do that. But yeah, I'm gonna get start putting away now, so I'll see you in a little while. So there we go. That has got the slurry spread. Beautiful smell. So, funny story. Well, it's not really a funny story, actually, to be fair. It's well, it was funny for everyone else, but it wasn't funny for me. So back on the second farm that I worked on, as I told you, they had dairy cows. They had a dairy, but I wasn't involved. But in the winter time, you would get so that if there wasn't that much to do in arable, you would then get sort of shifted off to doing stuff for the dairy, i.e. mainly it was carting straw. That was pretty much my sort of job. If I got sent over to the dairy, that was pretty much what I did. Carting straw, and then going into the cow barns and then mucking them out. So with the little skid steer or with the telehandler or whatever was available, you would then go in and you would go in and you'd just muck it out basically. So you'd have a big trailer or a muck spreader if you were taking it straight from the barn into the spreader onto the field. You'd have the muck spreader there or whatever, usually a trailer though, and you'd load the manure and then go tip it where they wanted it tipping, and that'd be your job for the day. And it'd be a nice, not too bad a job. Get in your cab, get the windows all shut, and you won't smell it too bad. And it was a half decent day's work. It was all right. This particular time, they had a problem with the slurry spreader, so they said. So they said. Now, the dairy boys didn't like us arable boys. Well, it's not that they didn't like, but a bit like where there's sort of friendly rivalry banter between, say, the RAF and the Navy or the Army or whatever. It's the same really on our farm. So the dairy side of things, they looked after the cows, obviously, and they also looked after the pigs. And the sheep pretty much looked after themselves. But they looked after the pigs and they looked after the cows. Now, the cows and the pigs were in the same area, so if you can imagine sort of all of this land, then there would have been a massive, great big dairy barn where they obviously got milked and stuff like that, so like a parlour. There'd also be the stalls where they sort of lived over winter, and then behind that would have been like the pastures, so they could then bring them in through the day. And then you'd also have like the pigs. There'd be a big bale pad here where you'd put the straw bales. It was a proper setup. But as I say, we didn't really ever get involved with them, and they never got involved with us because the the sort of standing joke was they couldn't drive tractors and we couldn't shove our hands up cows' bottoms to help them give birth. So therefore we had our jobs, they had their jobs, and we was kind of happy with that. And as I say, sometimes you would get sent down, the dairy needs another 300 bales or whatever, and we want it taken from pad 3. We want 60 bales from there, pad 4, whatever, and you just take it down to the dairy. And then one of the lads there, and there was a couple of girls that worked on there as well, but one of the workers there, they would unload the trailer and you just go back off, fetch some more, bring it back. This was happening. Anyway, this particular day, I got down there. I hadn't been there very long. I'm not sure if it was my first winter with them or whether it was my second winter. I've got a feeling it may have been the second one. So I gets down there, and they've got this very, not that particular slurry spreader, and we definitely didn't have a 9S Massey Ferguson. So we had a 6125R John Deere, I think it was a 6125. Might have been a 6155, I can't remember anyway. And then a slurry spreader with the dribble bars on the back, like bit like that, but not that one. And he says, I've got a problem with the slurry spreader, can you help me? Now, I'm not keen, right, because I've got a little bit of a sort of germ / bacteria phobia, right? So I like everything and myself to be really clean. That way I think I won't get no germs and I can't be ill, right? That's my logic. And it's nowhere near as bad now as what it used to be then, because I've had therapy since. Because you can't live your life like that. It was getting to the point where, as I say, like, sort of it was taking over, and it was silly. Don't get me wrong, I still like the whole hygiene thing. That's still a thing, but I just don't obsess about it quite as much. And anyway, so he says, I've got a bit of a problem. So I was like, right, okay, so I wasn't keen, but I also at the same time didn't want to be sort of like the known as the one that wouldn't help out or whatever. But as I say, like that was kind of my thoughts and my thinking behind it. So I comes trotting along over. So he says to me, you're going to need to get on the front, So with the hose mod that we had last year, you have like the big sort of square wrench, spanner sort of thing. And you had to go up to the pipes, didn't you, to connect them and, what have you. So he says, you need to go on there, get that. So I said, right, he was this end, I think. He was here somewhere. So I was like, right, he said, take that. He said, and just undo that up there. Undo the hose here. And it was only one hose. It wasn't two like that. I think it was a central hose, if I remember correctly. So I was like, okay, fair enough. And he had it all unfolded and everything. So I was like, okay. So I said, when I get it undone, what do you want me to do? He said, just pull it off. So I said, okay. He said, nothing will come out. He said, don't worry about it. He said, I flushed the tank through. He said, nothing will come out. So don't worry about that. So I said, okay. So I'm only in my normal boiler suit. I've not got no face guards on. I've not got no hand guards on, because I've been told that nothing's coming out, right? And you only had to have like your face guards on and that if it was full. All right, or if there was, slurry in there. So he said there might be little bits in the pipes, but he said you got your gloves on, so don't, he said, like, just when the pipe comes off, just tip it forward straight away. Don't, like, he said, and just stand out of the way. So okay, fair enough. So comes back here, unwrenching. At first, I couldn't really sort of, because I haven't got much upper strength because of my heart condition and everything. So I was sort of, and then it came free, and then it was like, yeah, I'm doing it, So I'm thinking he's going to think I'm a brilliant worker. That's what he's going to think. He's going to think I'm amazing because I haven't done this by myself. And I'm unscrewing this, thinking all these crazy things, right? And I literally, as I pulled it off, what I didn't realise was that a third person had come and stood behind me here that I didn't see come. And as I've pulled it off, he's obviously then put his thumb up. They've switched the pump on, and they have literally covered me in slurry. I mean, they have, like, from head to foot, they have covered me in slurry. It, honestly, I just like stood there, and I'm covered in this poo and wee and slush and just ugh, and the smell was horrendous, right? And because I've gone, I'm not particularly, I don't hold grudges. I'm not violent, I can't afford to be, because like I said, I've got no upper strength whatsoever. I'm, a bit of a weakling, and, blah, 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 blah. And so therefore, I can't be, I sort of just easy going, just like whatever, live and let live, all of that good stuff, and because what happened was, understandably, even today, laughing about it now, understandably, I lost my temper. I didn't lose my temper with him. I lost my temper with him. And I went round there, and I was raging and like, whatever. And because I grabbed on, because he had quite long hair, and I grabbed hold of his hair, pulled his face right down my boiler suit, his face, up his nose and everywhere. And because he went sort of mental, there was a little bit of a fight broke out. Anyway, it quickly got sort of separated and split up and what have you. But I was absolutely livid, because I had this sort of phobia with, bacteria and germs and what have you. Because, I've obviously got a weaker immune system, because obviously, my heart doesn't function properly, my lungs don't function properly. And, with my stroke and everything that I had, it has affected my immune system. My immune system is pretty strong. I've had, I've never tested, but I think I've had COVID a couple of times, and I've managed to get over it. So, and yeah, so I was really mad. Anyway, I think it was either Mike, who was the dairy manager, or Adrian. Adrian did eventually get to know about it, and as I've said before, Adrian and the lads on the arable side of the farm really understood my limitations and my sort of bits and pieces and my idiosyncrasies and all of that, and they just took it into account, took it in their stride, didn't make a fuss, just got on with it, and it made it really pleasurable to live with. But them boys either didn't know, probably was more likely that they just weren't aware and didn't know. And yeah, as I say, I got covered and I got told off by the dairy manager, obviously for fighting. And then when I went back to, because they had to find me, so they had a locker there with spare clothes, because obviously through the day you could get yourself covered in what have you, and it was just a boiler suit, that's all it was. So I literally just changed. They also had a shower block on site as well, so I went and had a shower and got sort of, like I say, changed and cleaned and everything else, and then sort of changed my clothes. And I drove back to the arable, like to the farm I was based at. So the arable had 4 farms in and around Long Sutton, Wisbech, and that. And you were based on a particular one. So I was based on like the combining, the drilling, cultivation, and that sort of side. And then you would also have then like the veg side of it, and stuff like that. So you were all divided up, and you all had your own farms that you went to. So I went back to my farm. And Adrian was there, and I told him, he was my farm manager, and I told him what had happened, and I mean, I was proper livid. I mean, like I was swearing, I was like really angry. And he said, like, calm down. He said, calm down. He said, firstly, he said, it ain't my fault. I didn't do anything. So I said, you sent me. And he was like, right, he goes, you can lose your attitude with me. He said, otherwise me and you are going to fall out. He said, right. He said, just calm down. He said, and tell me what's happened. So I told him what happened. And I also apologised as well, because I didn't want to lose my job. And he said, right. He said, okay, fair enough. He said, fair enough. I'll have a word. Anyway, he had a word, and about 2 days later, I got to hear sort of from one of the other lads that he'd actually been sacked. They'd sacked him for it. That because as I say, I mean, looking back now, it's funny and I can laugh about it. But I mean, 1 or 2 people have sort of said to me, the diseases that you could have got, I was lucky. I mean, I think if I remember correctly, I think I had. I don't know whether it was norovirus per se, but I did get a stomach bug from it. I was quite poorly for a day, day and a half. So yeah, I didn't get away scot-free, but yeah, I wasn't happy. But anyway, hope you enjoyed that little story. I just thought I'd tell you that. As I say, I can laugh about it now, and I can sort of talk about it now, and I don't get angry anymore. But yeah, I wasn't very happy at the time. But as you can see, night time has become us. So we'll go and turn the sawmill on so that we keep Walter up all night. And yeah, you'll join me again in the next episode, hopefully, where we will probably be getting more near towards spring, because there's not a great deal that happens on the farm in winter. So I'll just be sort of cycling through, cutting down trees, feeding the sawmill, selling the wood. So when you come back next time, like I say, unless something happens, unless something is worth putting on camera, then it will be. I didn't mean to get the chainsaw out. It will be, as I say, it'll probably be getting on towards springtime, and we'll have a few more pallets of what do you call that? Cheese. Complete mind blank then. But yeah, so that's what we'll be getting on with. And we'll also probably as well have a few little bits and pieces, jobs to do. All nice pretty red lights overnight. Pretty cool. Having a good old feed. Good on you. Get inside that milking machine as well, boy. Girl, even. I'll tell you, that's a very different thing if we're milking the boys. That is a very different video. And on that note, I think I'll say thanks very much for watching. If you haven't done already, please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you later.